Glenn McCrory, and you're watching Lights Out.
This is Lights Out. I'm Faisal Khan. Welcome to our weekly podcast, joined by one of the usual faces, Ron. No HF today. The show goes on. Right, let's get down to business. Last night, Deontay Wilder goes on Instagram, puts up the post, and according to him, he sent an email over to Eddie Hearn, Barry Hearn, Anthony Joshua's trainer, Robert McCracken, and Anthony Joshua himself. He's offered him $50 million for them to finally get in the ring. What do you make of it?
Wow. From 12 million to what was offered, this is a counter offer of 50 million.
By the way, I wish I was in that email as well.
Oh, yeah, well. And, I echo what Anthony Joshua is saying at the moment is, show me the money. It's a big sum, isn't it? But it's a big money fight, I reckon.
And of course, obviously, Anthony Joshua sat down with Eiffel TV a couple of weeks ago and he turned around and said, look, give me $50 million, I'll take the fight. I mean, if no one believes me, go on Instagram, go on Twitter, the proof is there. They've offered the money. What happens next? I mean, before obviously what happens next, do you actually think it's not just a PR stunt? Do you think this is it now? We're going to finally see these two giants get in the ring and finally get it on to undisputed.
Well, it's good. I mean, it's showing we're moving in the right direction. It's in a dramatic fashion, but we're getting there. Why would he say that otherwise? It's a bit unorthodox how it's all happened. Coming through rather than through the promoters. That's how fighters are dealing these days.
Yeah.
They say, they ask, who do you want to fight next? Oh, it's up to my promoter. But Deontay Wilder, before he had the Joseph Parker fight, he was calling Joshua out, and Joshua's always
even after the Bermane-Stavon fight, he was calling out Anthony Joshua, and Anthony Joshua vice versa was doing the same. But we remember after the Joseph Parker fight, Eddie Hearn's comments were, "Listen, Al Heyman, Shelley Finkel, they don't want it. They're not responding to us. The fight's not going to happen because."
Shelley. They read out that email that Eddie Hearn didn't respond to. And they're saying the same thing. It's like whether who to believe here, but like I said, Eddie Hearn's responded to that offer of 50 million, and he said the same thing. Where's that money? Is it genuine? We need to see terms and conditions and contracts need to be signed, and then we can move on from there. And they've got 2 hours to go or to the deadline.
So no one's going to sleep early tonight.
No one's going to sleep early. We're all eagerly awaiting, but it's that Friday meet down that they're going to have. Wouldn't you want to be that fly in her room just to listen to that conversation
100%, of course, I'd
to the biggest promoters in boxing?
Forget the fly on the wall. I think I'd like to be the lady outside with the glass next to the door, listening to him what's going on. But one thing I need to ask you, Ron, is why now? All of a sudden, it's just come out of nowhere.
Well, let's be honest. Look, if they didn't fight each other, then boxing fans would be disappointed. They're crying out for it. The Americans are crying out for an undisputed heavyweight title. Champion. They haven't had it since Tyson, Holyfield. And they're known, for having dominating the heavyweight division, the American fighters. But if they didn't have that fight, what are the alternatives? Okay, Joshua fights Povetkin, not as a glamorous name on his CV.
Perhaps a rematch with Dillian White.
I don't think that Dillian White's taken a different route. He's rebuilt his career after his defeat against Joshua, and may I add, he's done remarkably well.
And so if Wilder goes for Brazil, which doesn't really get anyone excited because of his performance.
He'll be a knockout in the third round. It's a fighter that Joshua made easy work of, beating him in 5 or 6 rounds. Yeah. So it does make sense, financial sense, kind of interest sense. And American heavyweight division has not been exciting for many years. For the last 2 decades. 15 years, we had the Klitschko's, we had the Fury obviously taking over, Lennox Lewis prior to that.
Yeah. So it's been a while since
we need, you want to see an American fight in Vegas with his names and lights. And
if you're Eddie Hearn right now, and you're looking at that offer, and bear in mind, all we know is that is the only condition we know is $50 million. But if you're looking at that offer, what are you thinking? Do you think it's a stunt? Or do you think it's actually this seriousness behind this? Do you think that these people, Heyman, Finkel, they're actually serious now? They want to get this fight happening? Or if you're Eddie Hearn and you're taking another approach and thinking, no, I'm not going to buckle when they throw the first ounce of pressure, because I've given offers as well. What's your initial thinking if you're Eddie Hearn?
Well, Eddie Hearn started it all off with lowballing, I reckon, with 12.5 million. I don't think that was enough. Clearly Wilder didn't think it was enough, so that's why he's countered with the 50 million offer. I mean, they're businessmen at the end of the day. They're going to make, they want to milk this opportunity. Undisputed heavyweight title of the world. Who wouldn't want that fight? I mean, but the question is, I'm going to ask you, where does the fight take place? Thinking about all the money that we've mentioned, if they can guarantee 50 million can be made from this fight, it's going to make financial sense. It's going to be a sellout stadium, arena stadium.
You asking me the question, where does the fight take place? Of course, everyone ideally wants it to take place in England, probably.
Well, that's English fan fee, but not American fans necessarily.
But me personally, I've seen AJ win Olympic gold. I've seen him beat probably the best heavyweight in our generation in Vladimir Klitschko. I've seen him do it all practically. But what I would like to see is for AJ to go out there now, because the best of our British boxers in the last few years or so,
Nazim Hamid, Ricky Hatton,
Amir Khan,
Lennox Lewis has done it, and he's done. He's dominated.
Khan's
He's been.
done
They've been great nights, memorable nights
as well. So, me personally, I would like to see go to America.
And how does he deal with that? I mean, Wilder's shown his.
Oh well, look, Rocky never had it easy when he went to Russia, did he?
But no, I mean, talking about the two fighters, Wilder's done it in Russia, and he came through.
Exactly,
and he's won that title.
I think that's
but how does Joshua? I mean, we haven't seen that.
I think that's what separates the two fighters. There's not obviously much difference between both fighters.
Styles make fights.
Wilder's had more professional fights, of course, but obviously the names on his resume are not as big as the ones in AJ's resume, if you think about it.
I agree.
But I think what I see from Anthony Joshua, I see a cool and calm fighter. I mean, looking at him before the Klitschko and the Parker fight, just that coolness, that calmness, the smile on his face before the fight, to get back off the canvas against Klitschko, goes to say a lot about Anthony Joshua. But I think this is a different type of test. Not only fighting the WBC heavyweight champion of the world, whose knockout ratio is very high, but going to his backyard is going to, especially in America. And now Anthony Joshua's never been over there, so we don't know what type of atmosphere he's got to expect. Is he going to go over there as a fan favourite, or is he going to go there and get booed left, right and centre? Nobody knows.
Well, let's be honest, but what about with Wilder? I mean, is he that popular in America for it to be justified to fight in Vegas? I mean, don't get me wrong, I think it's a Vegas kind of fight.
Yeah.
But is there much interest in Wilder? I mean, that's an interesting question. I mean, he's never earned more than 5 million for a fight, 5 or 6 million. What was his last press against Ortiz?
We obviously.
I mean, now he's going up in caliber here. Yeah. In terms of fire, in terms of more money that he's making here. So
obviously we don't keep an eye out on American boxing. The politics behind it as much as we should, but we keep an eye on what goes on in here. We know what most fighters are generating, but I think the American public, they know who Anthony Joshua is, and the second they find out that AJ is coming over to their backyard, to their country, to fight their world champion, that's when you're going to get the viewers in. That's when you're going to get the high demand.
I hope so. Yeah, no, I don't see that fight not selling out.
Don't get me wrong.
But will it be a 90,000 or 100,000 kind of that Wembley can offer?
The only thing that's off-putting about one thing that's off-putting about this is that you look at AJ, he sold out the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff, and he sold out Wembley against Klitschko. Wilder's only generating an attendance of 20-odd thousand in the Barclays Centre. The Barclays Centre, compare that to some of the stadiums we've got over here in the UK, there's a massive difference. So this, of course, is something different as well for Wilder. And if you want this fight to happen, you want to see it like Klitschko, you want to see a big stadium, you want to see a sellout, you want to see a massive hoo-ha about it. So,
but you don't think that there can be a full sellout in America? Let's just say
Ron, you know what?
I mean, the T-Mobile Stadium. I mean, what's the capacity of that? 40,000, 50,000.
It's something.
You know what I mean?
The Barclays Centre is, I think, 20-odd thousand. Ron, to be honest with you, I don't know, because we've not seen AJ go over there yet. We all said what would it be like for Amir Khan, Nassim Hamid, for Ricky Hatton, and they went over there. And for me, I look back to British fighters that have gone over. I remember Ricky Hatton took thousands of fans with him to the Mayweather fights, to the Castillo fights, to the Pacquiao fights.
This is showing my years. I remember watching Frank Bruno going over to America, and unfortunately, his words were, "I'm going to bring that title back."
So, if these fighters could do it, then why can't an Olympic gold medalist heavyweight champion of the world do it? there's only one way to find out. Go take
Make
the
that
fight
fight.
to America.
Make that
Take, and do you know what? If AJ goes over there and he knocks out Wilder, then I will happily turn around and say this guy is the best.
But I mean, that's great and all, but I sense a bit of reluctance from Eddie Hearn's part. I think he wants to keep
It's
it
a
in
risk.
the UK.
It's a risk.
I mean, he wants to keep it in the UK, but he's not. He's not outright said no. It's not happening in the US. But he's open to the idea. But he'd have a preference to keep it in the UK. More money he could make.
Tyson Fury said today, take the money.
Of course.
$50 million is a lot of money for a fight, I'd take 50 quid to fight Deontay Wilder if I really had to. But having said that, now, the offer's been made. All parties have had their response. We're waiting for the final answer. In your mind as a boxing fan, what happens next?
I think it's going to take a few weeks. It's not as straightforward as we think it is. I think Eddie Hearn mentioned that in his kind of response to the offer on IFL TV. So they're going to thrash out a deal. It's going to make sense for them where it happens, when it happens. The terms and conditions. Do you actually have that 50 million? That you're claiming. I mean, how much can this fight actually generate? And then it's going to make financial sense for Wilder. Is he going to make more than the 12.5 million that he would have made from the initial deal? So we'll have to wait. I mean, how it stands, he's guaranteed 50 million. That's Joshua, and obviously money kind of needs to be.
AJ responded with "Let's roll." So let's roll. I want to see it happen. You want to see it happen. I don't want to see it be a case of Mayweather Pacquiao happen too late in their careers. I don't want to see it being dragged out because, quite frankly, it is the next big fight. And no disrespect to anyone else in that heavyweight division, apart from Tyson Fury, I don't see anyone else beating a Wilder.
I disagree with you. No, I mean, I think I would have loved to see Dillian White in there. If he didn't go down the Joshua route, I think that would have been a great barnstormer of a fight. I mean, Dillian White's got
according to the WBC, we're going to see Wilder Ortiz. I think that's a cracking fight. I really do think it's a cracking fight.
I genuinely feel hard done by for Dillian White. He has on 2 occasions for these mandatory for a mandatory.
In this day, Ron, the rebuilding process is horrible for a boxer that loses a fight, and I personally think Dillian White does deserve a world title fight. But at the moment, the question is simple: do you want to see AJ fight Wilder? Or do you want to see Dillian White fight Wilder or AJ?
I mean, look, of course, that's an obvious answer there. Obviously, I want to see Joshua Wilder, but if that wasn't going to happen I wouldn't be surprised if that didn't happen. I'd rather him fighting against Brazil. I'd love to see Dillian White have a crack. Hey, if Dillian White actually takes that title off him, what of a great British terror would we have there? We've got something both to bring to the table. The rematch.
The first fight wasn't that bad, was it?
It is 2 British heavyweight champions. I don't think we've ever had that in history. But that's, fantasy at the moment. So we've got a spectacle potentially, kind of coming up right now in between Joshua and Wilder.
Wilder, let's go, baby, let's go. Look, we can only wait, and
absolutely,
we have to wait and find out what's going on. I wish that we could give everyone the answers, but it's down to
maybe in about 2 hours and 59 minutes.
Yeah, well, we all hope so. Anyway, guys, listen, we'd obviously love to stay and carry on talking all night, but I want to thank you guys for joining the podcast. We've got a big one coming up next week, the rematch Hay versus Bellew. Is it going to be revenge or is it going to be repeat? I want to thank you guys for watching our podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment, and we'll be catching up with you guys hopefully later on next week. Faisal Khan, thank you once again for watching. Lights out.